The first day you pull up to Bubonic Sonic Studios, conveniently located between two truck stops off the highway an hour outside Rockville, you find yourself somewhat underwhelmed. It's not like you were expecting Abbey Road or anything, but this place is a dump. After so long on tour, are you really ready to lock yourself up for weeks inside the stank studio, without any of the audience interaction that you've come to love? It's almost enough to make you want to run away. However, once you get past the stained concrete exterior smelling of decay, and Spencer, the ferociously growling pit bull chained by the entrance, you find a perfectly serviceable recording studio. Not that you really know anything about recording studios, but all the elements you'd expect seem to be in place. There are microphones of all shapes and sizes, a reel-to-reel recorder, a mixing board with all manner of intriguing knobs and dials, and even that weird grey egg looking material covering the walls and ceiling for some reason. Lucian, the burly, tattooed gentleman sitting at the mixer, gives you a quick tour of the space. Lucia's aggressive facial piercings and bleached mohawk, all somewhat obscured by the cloud of smoke forever clinging around his head, bespeak his rock bona fides. Despite its outwardly decrepit appearance, you're excited to learn that this studio has played host to some famous artists over the years, Art Garfunkel, Tito Jackson, The Pips, etc. Maybe not the cream of the crop, but it's clear that Fran has hooked you up with a legit space. After finishing the tour, you sit down with Lucian to discuss business. Your manager said you guys were the next hot thing, that just letting you record here would put this place on the map. I asked her which map that was, exactly, and she hung up on me. Fucking managers. Anyway, she booked you for 20 hours, which will get you 6 songs if you work fast enough. That's pretty standard for a demo tape. If you want more, you have to pay. If you want anything extra, any bells and whistles, you also have to pay. If you want to get drunk and trash the place, you have to pay and answer to Spencer. Got it? Got it. Let's get started. Radio button. Ticked. 1 of 2. I'm not sure 20 hours. Your manager said, got it. I'm not sure 20 hours. Tick. Next. But it's $20 an hour to add more time now. If you run out of time and want to add more at the end, it rises to $30 an hour. If you don't understand why the same hour costs more if you need it later than if you book it now, I would be happy to lecture you on the principles of supply and demand economics. That will cost $40 an hour. What do you want to do? I'll take my chances with the 20 hours. Radio. Let's book 5 more hours, to be safe. Radio button. Let's book 10 more hours, to be safe. Screw it. Let's book 20 more hours. You only get one chance to make a first album, and I'm going all in on this one. Radio. Tick. Tell me more about these bells and whistles. Speaking of getting drunk, mind if we bring in a few refreshments? Next. I like your attitude, and your money. 40 hours may seem like a lot, but if you're planning on producing a fully polished 12 to 16 song album, it will go faster than you realize. Now, let's start recording, shall we? It takes about an hour to get all set up, with the microphones properly positioned and all the instruments accounted for. Finally, you're all ready to start playing, except you haven't picked out a song to play. You decide to focus on your original 4 songs first and harness the creative energy to generate more material down the road. Which song do you want to record first? Sepulchral Queen. Too Hard to Dance. Greta, Don't You Leave Me. Jammin' Jamboree. Sepulchral Queen. Which song? Sepulchral. Tick. Next. But, after all the build-up, you rip into a version of Sepulchral Queen that effortlessly explodes from all 7 of you like a Scud rock missile. You immediately rush over to Lucian to hear the playback. He rewinds the track, but before pressing play he warns you. Listen, this is your first time recording, which means it's your first time hearing yourselves on tape. For some fans, it can be a very difficult experience. Like when you hold a magnifying glass up to some hot chick's ass, and you see all the zits and stuff. It might look gross at first, but it doesn't mean she isn't still hot. Lucian truly has a way with words. After making sure you've heeded his advice, he presses play. And it sounds pretty damn great. Obviously you've played Sepulchral Queen plenty of times now, but hearing it on tape is a completely new and exciting experience. Even Lucian is impressed. That may be the cleanest first take by a new band I've ever heard, he says. Of course there are a few rough spots to polish out, too, he quickly adds, lest his enthusiasm seem over-effusive, but we can work on those later. Let's lay down some more tracks. In just 3 hours, you manage to record the bass tracks to all 4 of your songs. By the end of the session, Lucia's amazement at your skill and discipline has only grown. Lighting a new cigarette with his current cigarette, he turns to the band. You know, a lot of young bands come in here with a ton of hype and never come close to living up to it, but you guys are something special. I haven't been this excited to record an album since I was a schoolgirl. You have 36 hours left. That is more than enough at the rate you're going. It's up to you how you want to spend it. What's the strategy for your remaining hours? I want to focus on the 6-song demo we set out to make and spend the extra hours making it as polished and professional sounding as possible. Radio button. Ticked. I want to expand the scope of the project into a full-sized 12, 16-song album. Radio button. I want to bring in additional musicians to add a new dimension to our sound. Radio button. Untick. Next. I want to bring in additional musicians to add a new dimension. I want to expand the tick. Next. But not only are you bursting with studio time, you are overflowing with creativity as well. Because you are a bit obsessed with music, you already have an entire library of song seeds, have to fully baked musical ideas that you keep locked inside your head. It's why songwriting has always come so naturally for you, and why your high school math teachers always thought you were daydreaming during class. They were right. You hone in on the most promising ideas and flesh them out until they are ready to start being practiced with the band. Even though the songs are brand new, as soon as you practice them a couple times, it feels like you've known them forever. You rush back to the studio with a burst of energy and lay down the tracks. You know the songs are good when you see Lucian bobbing his head and rocking out behind the soundboard when he thinks no one is watching. You spend the remaining time polishing all your tracks. It's long, tedious work, but it really pays off. By the time you've used up all your recording hours, your album actually has begun to resemble something you could call professionalish. You've just finished your first album, a real, honest-to-God, album with your music. It almost doesn't seem real. All of your hard work paid off to create the perfect realization of your music. Before you leave, Lucian hands you a copy of the final master recording. I'm glad I got a chance to work with you all, before you become famous. I don't think it will take too long. Unfortunately, I've seen what the industry can do to talented kids like you. It chews you up and spits you out as a hollow corporate shill. Just stick to your own path, and you'll be alright. Oh, and rock on. Excited for a few days of well-earned rest, you receive a call asking you to be part of a local music festival near Rockville. It seems the organizer is a longtime fan of yours, back from your days gigging at Casabas. There will be thousands of people there. The only problem? It's this weekend. It seems there really is no rest for the weary rocker. You get home and immediately start preparing for the big show. Next. Button. I could have stayed at home forever. But Big Money Man was much too clever. he said. Sign on the dotted line. It's going to work out fine. Jerry Rafferty. Next. Button. A fortuitous thing happens as you unpack your guitar to set up for the first sound check of the Rock SummerSlam Jam Rockstravaganza 89. The wind happens to catch a small piece of paper sitting in your case and sends it floating in the air. You snatch it just before it falls off stage and disappears into the 2,500-seat outdoor shed. Turning the paper over, you find a number attached to a name, Joey Greenbacks. Suddenly, your interaction with Joey a couple of years ago comes rushing back to you. Call me when you're ready, he said back then. Looking out into the seemingly endless venue, you realize that the time has finally come. You are ready. What do you do? Call Joey and invite him to the show. Radio button. Send a courier to deliver 2 tickets to Joey's office, along with a handwritten note from the band and a bottle of expensive scotch. Radio button. Have Fran call Joey and invite him to the show. Radio button. Forget Joey. I don't need him anymore. Radio button. Call Joey and invite him. Tick. Next. But you call Joey and cordially invite him to attend your performance. Well, actually, you leave a cordial message with his assistant. Who knows what will come of it, but you're glad you reached out. After sound check you have a free evening before tomorrow afternoon's show. How do you want to use the time? Publicity. Hit the ground hard and ramp up support for the show. Radio button. Ticked. Rest and spend time with old friends. Radio button. Old-fashioned throwdown. Time to make hay with all those girls who didn't know my name back in high school. Radio button. Next. Button. No flyering needed for this one. The festival has done all of the groundwork. Instead, you hit the college and local radio circuits to promote the band. You even score an exclusive interview with Rocks, the highest-rated rock station in town. You manage to play them a cut from your demo, and they're so blown away by it that they agree to play Too Hard to Dance on the air as part of their 8 o'clock rock block. That night, you and the band gather around the radio to hear your song on a major radio station for the first time. It's an unbelievable moment, one you've been dreaming about nearly your entire life. Though it's only 3 minutes long, you bask in the afterglow for hours. Good luck getting any sleep tonight. Next. Button. After so much build-up, the show comes and goes in the blink of an eye. Unfortunately, your lasting memory of this show is one of melancholy. As you look out into the audience, specifically the VIP section up front for friends and family, you realize that your family is nowhere to be found. After the show, you sit alone in the dressing room as your other bandmates celebrate with their family members. Upset as you are, a new guest's sudden arrival manages to take your mind off of everything else. Joey Greenbacks. He bursts into your dressing room like a heat-seeking tornado. Is this the schmuck who thought it would be a good idea to drag me all the way to this podunk shithole just to watch him play? Well, I'm here. With Joey, it's impossible to know if he wants to hug you or bite your head off. Thankfully, he opts for the former. You know I've been reading about Rajametronic 3000 all summer long. A demo, a successful tour, and an opening gig for a hot touring band. And now, you've capped it off beautifully with your first large venue show. There's only one thing you're missing, a record deal. He lets those last 3 words hang in the air for a very long time. Finally he breaks the tension. Well, do you want a deal or not? Of course, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. Radio button. Tick. No way. We don't want anything to do with you record industry sleazeballs. Radio button. Unticked. I mean, sure, why not? You know, if you're offering. Radio button. Unticked. Next. Button. No, of course, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. Radio button. Ticked. Next. Joey laughs. Fine. Bring the gang in here, and let's sign on the dotted lines. Hurry up, I've got to be on a yacht in Boca in 3 hours. You run out and grab the other members, who cannot believe what's transpiring. The 7 of you huddle around the table and review the contract. He taps his foot impatiently as each second goes by, but you know it's important to consider every aspect carefully. For example, pursuant to Article 1, Section 5B, Gilded Cage Records Inc., henceforth Gilded, retains all intellectual, commercial, and creative properties produced or otherwise distributed by Rajametronic 3000, henceforth Rajametronic 3000. Furthermore, Rajametronic 3000 agrees to no fewer than 5. Television/radio/magazine promotional appearances, commensurate and in conjunction with each new album released through Gilded, to support said albums and commercial partners of Gilded. Said album shall be produced at least once. 1 times annually, with at least 3 radio-length singles, runtime of 2:47 or less, and 2 music videos. From all album sales, single sales, radio/broadcast sales, and live perform on our attendance sales, Rajametronic 3000 shall collect a royalty of 16 and 75/100%, 16.75% of net profits, with an advance against royalties of $25,000, $25,000. Failure to comply with these agreements shall result in the termination of all contracts and agreements forthwith between and pursuant to all parties. You squint at the text for a while, trying to pretend, at least, like you have some idea of what's going on. Your bandmates are having an even worse time, looking to you for some guidance. After 10 minutes of careful reading, Casper looks up at Joey. What does pursuant mean? Joey chuckles. Musicians, you never disappoint. Look, this is a very standard, very fair contract that's going to make you very rich. If very rich sounds like something that interests you, then sign it. If not, then kindly return my absurdly expensive pen to me, and I will be on my way. What do you do? Sign it, now. Radio button. Ticked. See if I can negotiate some slightly better terms. Radio button. Untick. Don't sign. I don't want anything to do with this guy. Radio button. See if I can negotiate some slightly better terms. Tick. Call Fran. Next. Call Fran. Radio. Next. Your bandmates look stunned as you push Joey for better terms. Amazingly, he relents. You caught me in a good mood today, and I want to get this thing over with. Let's do 17% royalties with a $30,000 advance and 4 promo appearances. It's a fantastic deal. Now sign the damn thing already, and let's get on to more important things, like picking out classy yet stylish yachting attire. Do you sign? Yes. Radio button. Ticked. Ticked. No. Radio button. Keep pressing for more. Radio button. Next. Button. Your hand shakes as you sign the contract. You can't believe it's actually happening. When you're all done, Joey places a bottle of very expensive champagne on the table. That's for you. I gotta run. Remember, this is the first day of the rest of your lives. Don't let me down. And just like that, Joey disappears, leaving behind a copy of your newly stamped ticket to rockstardom. Next chapter. Button. Fame. What you like is in the limo. Fame. What you get is no tomorrow. Fame. What you need you have to borrow fame. 9. It's mine. It's just his line to bide your time. It drives you to crime. Fame David Bowie. Next. Button. It's now 6 months later. You, as is your new custom, are passed out in the back of a limousine. Because people like to ask you questions while you are asleep, you have taken to wearing very dark sunglasses at all times. This has the added benefit of hiding the bags under your eyes, which are many and massive. You wake up to a rolled-up magazine being rudely smacked against your face. Opening your eyes, the blurry visage of Fran appears before you. It seems she's been talking to you for quite some time, but only now does her voice register. Or they're going to cancel. Well, what's your decision? Yes or no? Yes. Radio button. Ticked. 1 of 5. No. Radio button. How about yes and no? Please rephrase the question. You're my manager. You decide. Please next. You're my manager. Tick. Please rephrase. Tick. Next. She sighs and launches back into a lengthy explanation. You try to pay attention, but you are so tired from your relentless schedule that you immediately zone out. You only snap back to attention when you hear, yet again, well, what's your decision? Yes or no? You're my manager. Next. How about, no, yes. Tick. No. You're my next. Okay, I'll cancel the show and confirm you for the music video shoot tonight. Well, glad that's settled. You're about to fall back to sleep when Fran shoves that magazine back in your face. Before you go back to sleep, you may want to look at this. Page 78. You groggily flip open the People magazine and find a small picture of you and a scantily clad woman on the beach. The accompanying blurb reads, Rajametronic 3000 lead singer Blind Life and Art World darling Layla Gold canoodling on the beach. Rajametronic 3000's hotly anticipated debut album is set to drop next month. What the hell does canoodling mean? You pass the magazine back to Fran. It's nice of Joey to get me some publicity, but I wish it could be about the music, not my relationship. Radio button. Ticked. Why is my picture so small? Call up the magazine and yell at them for me. Radio button. Please stop showing me crap like this. It gives me a stomachache. Radio button. I don't like the way my hair looks. We need to work on that. Radio button. Unticked. Next. I don't like. Ticked. Next. Fran frowns at the picture. Fran frowns at the picture. I'll make sure there's a stylist ready on set when you get there. Satisfied, you close your eyes and drift back to sleep. The night's music video shoot finds you seated atop a camel, surrounded by half-naked women, singing the chorus to Jammin' Jamboree roughly 8,467 times. Jammin' Jamboree will be the first single off the new album and has already reached the top 10 new release charts in its first week of radio play. While the rest of the band has already wrapped for the day, you're forced to stick around and keep shooting your close-ups. It's yet another drawback of being the head honcho. After the take, Marcello, the intense director, runs over to you. Bellissimo, wonderful energy, we're almost finished now, just one small adjustment. He adjusts your robe, making sure the opening goes as far down below your navel as possible. One of the makeup people runs in and sprays fake sweat onto your chest region. Marcello nods approvingly. Now we are ready for the rocking. He runs back to the camera while you prepare yourself for the next take. It's a tough job, but what can you do? You head back to your dressing room, where you find Layla waiting for you with a big hug and a kiss. I was watching you before on that camel, she says. You look so sexy. You and Layla have been dating for about a month, ever since Joey set you up after one of your shows. Layla is an extremely creative person, an artist and musician as well as a passionate fan of your music. As you and Layla settle in for some alone time, you hear a knock on the door. Rory walks in. Hey, we were all about to go out and oh, she's here. Sorry. Over the past couple of weeks, it's become clear that Layla and Rory do not get along. With their polar opposite personalities, it's increasingly awkward how the two of them must fight for your attention, now that you're the big star of the show. What do? I'm going to have a nice relaxing night with Layla, and I shouldn't have to feel bad about it, either. Radio button. Ticked. 1 of 3. I'm going out with the band. We need some quality time. Layla will understand. Radio button. I'm going out with the band and bringing Layla with me. It's the best of both worlds. Radio button. Ticked. Next. While Layla and your bandmates all appreciate the effort, it's clear that this combo just doesn't work. As soon as Layla begins outlining her suggestions for a new, Japanese kabuki-inspired, stage setup for the band, Rory's and Casper's eyes roll so far back into their heads you worry they might be having strokes. Finally, Rory comes up with an excuse to split, and everyone else follows suit. You and Layla head back to your fancy new apartment, with Layla pouting all the way. She says that she's upset because she doesn't feel that you are interested in her creative input or music. You assure her that you are, in fact, very interested in her music and would love to hear some right now. Immediately, her attitude changes, and she whips out her guitar to play you 3 new songs. After they're over, she nervously asks to know what you think. It's hard for you to tell if they're really any good, since you're quite smitten with her, and everything she sings just sounds so beautiful. Besides, polyrhythmic flamenco music isn't really your speciality. Well, what do you think of my new songs? They're amazing and beautiful, just like you. Radio button. Ticked. 1 of 3. They're a lovely first take. I can't wait to hear you record them. Radio button. Unticked. 2 of 3. It's hard for me to say, to be honest, but I always love hearing your work. Radio button. They're amazing and beautiful, just like you. They're amazing and beautiful, just like you. Next. Layla runs over and hugs you. Thank you for being so supportive of me. So then you'll talk to Joey about putting one of my songs on your next album? Say what, now? No. Radio button. No, but maybe she can sing backup vocals on stage with us. Sure, why not? Radio button. Unticked. Next. Sure, no, but maybe she can sing backup vocals on stage with us. Ticked. Next. People as attractive as Layla are not used to being rejected, but she seems to come around to the idea of being on stage with you. By the end of the night, the two of you are making beautiful harmonies together. A few weeks later, you find yourself in lovely Burbank, California, on the famous Tonight Show soundstage, rocking Sepulchral Queen for the small studio audience and, though you try to block it from your mind, millions of viewers at home as well. It's the biggest exposure you've ever gotten, a major coup for Fran and Joey and the entire band. Unfortunately, your family couldn't make it to the taping, even though you offered to fly them out. Your mother said she would try to turn it on in the background during her rhythmic gymnastics class, but she wasn't overly excited about the idea. Still, it's hard to be too upset about their disinterest when you've got Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon to the left of you and Layla to your right. Ever since you worked on the arrangement of Sepulchral Queen to add a backup female harmony, it's been a joy getting to have Layla up on stage with you. Your bandmates haven't loved it as much, but it's been hard for them to voice any displeasure with the whirlwind of success you've been experiencing. After you bring the song to a close and Johnny sends the audience to their commercial break, Fred de Cordova, the show's producer, runs over. Great job, everyone. I can tell you'll be hugely famous real soon. Not with me, though. I used to work with Elvis, so you just sound like garbage to my ears. But the young generation who don't know any better, they're gonna love you. Everyone shuffles their feet, unsure how to respond. Thanks, I guess. You finally reply. Glancing up at the clock, Fred leans into you. Look, kid, we got 3 more minutes. Why don't you sit on the couch with Johnny and crack wise for a few, eh? What do you say? You can bring one of these folks up with you, too, but no more than one. Wow, who will it be? I'll bring Layla. Radio button. I'll bring Casper. I'll go up by myself. I'll bring Casper. Tick. Next. Button. You. Show stats. Button. Show stats. Rockstar. Back button. Stats. Achievements. Button. Name. Blind Life Smiley. Instrument. Guitar. Hometown. Rockville. Money. 46,126. Health. 55%. Style. 69%. Musicianship. 77%. Stage presence. 82%. Bad influence. 30%. Bad influence. Role model. 70%. Band name. Rajametronic 3000. Band size. 7. Casper's instrument. Bass. Buzz. 88%. Cohesion. 45%. Commercial. 74%. Indie. 26%. Folk. 32%. Rock. 68%. Improvisation. 75%. Precision. 25%. Artsy. 40%. Poppy. 60%. Casper relationship. Bandmates. Management. Fran. Contract. Best contract. First song. Sepulchral Queen. Second song. Too Hard to Dance. Third song. Greta Don't You Leave Me. Fourth song. Jammin' Jamboree. Musical style. Jammy. Album. Electric Ladyland. Album. Electric Ladyland. Style. 69%. Rockstar. Stat. Achievements. Button. Back button. Achievements. Close. 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 But. Achieve. Close. Close. Back button. Back button. Close. Button. Cod Rock. Achievements. 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 Total. Close. Achievements. Total. Achievement count. Completed. Button. Achievements. Selected. 10. Going strong. 10/41. Total achievements completed. Going strong. You're doing great. Can you get them all? Completed. Heading. Completed. February 25th, 2022. Best contract. You signed the best contract. Completed. February 25th, 2022. Amazing album. You recorded an amazing, full-length album. Completed. February 25th, 2022. Style King. You updated your style. Completed. February 25th, 2022. Bus. You landed a tour bus. Completed. February 25th, 2022. Police. You were taken home by the police. Completed. February 25th, 2022. Victory. You won the Battle of the Bands. Completed. February 25th, 2022. Joey's card. You got Joey Greenback's business card. Completed. February 25th, 2022. Jail. You spent a night in jail. Completed. February 25th, 2022. Huge party. You threw a massive party at school. Completed. February 25th, 2022. Classical rage. You raged on a classical instrument. Locked. Heading. Locked. Bad birthday. Ruin your birthday. Locked. Collapse. Collapse on stage. Locked. Comeback kid legacy. Fashion a legacy as a comeback kid. Locked. Crossover success. Find crossover success. Locked. Early egomania. Use your name as the band name. Locked. Fallen star. Die an early death. Locked. First groupie. Make moves on the cutie at Strom's. Locked. First song. Write a song in the first chapter. Locked. Fran. Sign with Fran. Locked. The Friendly Ghosts. Put Casper's name in the band's name. Locked. Indie star legacy. Achieve a legacy as an indie star. Locked. Insurance rocker legacy. Retire to a life of insurance sales. Locked. Is that a gospel choir? Add a gospel choir to your demo tape. Locked. Is that an orchestra? Add an orchestra to your demo tape. Locked. Jam band pioneer legacy. Become a pioneer jam musician. Locked. Rock legend legacy. Become a rock legend. Locked. Musical professional legacy. Become a professional session musician. Locked. No more ghosts. Get rid of Casper. Locked. Opening act. Become an opening act. Locked. Perfect city. Choose the perfect city for your sound. Locked. Perfect song. Choose the perfect song to play. Locked. Prankster. Prank someone. Locked. Premature burnout. Burnout before hitting the big time. Locked. Punk legend legacy. Become a legend in the punk scene. Locked. Rambling legacy. Earn a legacy as a rambling musician. Locked. Rock family legacy. Become a rock and roll family. Locked. Rockstar rehab. Find some moderation in rehab. Locked. Secret show. Play a secret show. Locked. Sell out. Sell out for big bucks. Locked. Solo star legacy. Become famous as a solo star. Locked. Avoid label. Avoid a label before the battle of the bands. Vertical scroll bar. Vertical scroll bar. Locked. Rockstar rehab. Back button. Close. Cod Rocks Fade Muter 36B. Close. Button. Rock. Commercial. 74%. Rockstar. Stats. Album. Music. Rockstar. Back. Rockstar. Show stat. You and Casper sit on the famous couch talking to Johnny, while the rest of the band watches from the wings. You tell a few stories about growing up with Casper and all the fights you used to have. It's not every rock band where the bassist used to give wedgies to the guitarist. Cracks Johnny. Maybe the Partridge Family. At the end, Johnny reminds the audience one more time about your upcoming debut album, then signs off for the night. The show over, you sign a few autographs for some audience members, then head back toward the dressing room, excited for the miniature candy bars and other assorted delicacies that await you there. You pause outside the room when you hear laughter coming from inside. To your surprise, you open to find Layla and the rest of your bandmates sitting around the room, laughing it up together. Layla is doing an imitation of Ed McMahon that has Casper in tears. Seeing you at the door, she stands up and shouts, "Here's Blind Life." As you sit down next to Layla, you catch Rory's eyes from across the room. The look you exchange says everything. Everything is going to be okay. Next chapter. Button. How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year running over the same old ground. What have we found? The same old fears. Wish you were here. Pink Floyd. Next. Button. That Tonight Show appearance proved to be the launch. Tonight. That shows rockstar. Heading. Show stats. That Tonight Show appearance proved to be the launching pad for your band's ascension to true rock stardom. The buzz created by your appearance fed right into the promotion for the upcoming album, which in turn bolstered the radio and music video play of Jammin' Jamboree. Almost as quickly as success arrives, so too does adversity. For every article hyping your band and the new album, there are now 2 more mocking you and branding you as sellouts. Joey, for his part, doesn't seem to mind. He just wants the promotional money to keep rolling in, and he doesn't care about its origin. Before long, your face can be seen all over billboards and magazine ads hawking everything from liquor and cigarettes to diapers and sanitary napkins. Over the next few years, you star in a Korean shoe commercial, play a private show for an Arab sheik, perform Sepulchral Queen at the Clio Advertising Awards, model for the Marlboro catalog, and book a series of corporate gigs around the country. With your bank account swelling and your reputation dwindling, it's time to choose the next chapter of your career. What's the plan? Release another album to regain respect and reinvigorate my career. Radio button. Embark on a solo career. Radio button. Next. Button. Release another album to regain respect and reinvigorate my... Tick. Next. You pour your heart and soul into a new album, hoping it will be the artistic milestone of your career. Finally, when the big release day arrives, your album debuts at number 2 on the charts. You come in just behind the Marvin's debut album, He's the Martian, I'm the Spaceman. The album's success transforms you overnight. You are no longer just a musician or even a rock star. You are a celebrity. And celebrity means bigger everything, bigger house, bigger car, and bigger parties. You pour your heart and soul into a new album. Actually, Layla may be the one who's benefited the most from your celebrity. She's used her newfound fame as your girlfriend to launch her newest venture, a high-end fashion label. Her desire for fame often proves distracting, but it certainly doesn't hurt your own public image. It's time to figure out your future with Layla. What's your plan? Marry her. Radio button. Ticked. 1 of 3. Keep dating her. I worry about marriage later. Radio button. Unticked. 2 of 3. Break up with her. Radio button. Marry her. Radio. Tick. Break. Next. But looks like you dodged a bullet, because before you even get the chance, you come home to find a note from Layla explaining that she has left you for a Mexican soap opera star. It seems she has even more money, with a bigger mansion and better publicity. The news completely crushes you. For about a week, you would be more upset except for, all the groupies and money and everything. You forge ahead, focusing on your next album and tour. And while you could do without some of the sillier aspects of celebrity, you're still in love with being a rock star, getting to play your music for millions of people all around the world. What could be greater than that? Still, you're often haunted by the knowledge that there's one dream you can never achieve, the support of your family. It's been years since you and Casper have seen your parents, and it pains both of you to think how they never supported you or took pleasure in your success. Meanwhile, you are back on tour, with a massive show coming up at the Rockville Centrum, the sports stadium outside of town. It's your first stadium show, and it signifies that you've truly arrived, or at least reached the same level as the minor league hockey team that calls the stadium its home. It's one of these shows where everything seems to be going wrong. As you try to focus your energy, you take out a picture of you and Casper from your younger years, when you used to play together all day long, and the only thing in the world that mattered was the music, pure and simple. It was the happiest time of your life, and it feels so far away now. You struggle on stage that night, just going through the motions of the performance, unable to rid yourself of the thought that you've lost that pure energy you once had. Then, looking down into the audience, you see familiar faces looking up at you from the front. It's your parents. You and Casper look at each other in disbelief. After the show is over, you meet up backstage. While they still don't understand your music, they say they are so proud of your success that they had to come see it in person. They apologize for not keeping in touch, and they promise to be there for you from now on, if only to make sure you stay out of trouble. In return, your mom makes you promise to incorporate the harp into one of your new songs. Next. Button. While your band keeps moving forward to new towns, new tours, new albums, and new levels of success, you try always to keep yourself grounded in the feeling of that picture of you and Casper in the early days that you still carry around with you. So even as you reach the final stage of fulfilling your dream, moving from rock star to rock legend, you will always remain inside the same young boy who loves to make music. And nothing could be more rock and roll than that. End. Button. While your band keeps... End. Button. We hope you've enjoyed playing. Choice of the rock star. On a scale from 1 to 10, how likely are you to recommend this game to a friend? 10. 9. 10. Most likely. Radio. 6. 10. Ticked. Next. But text field. My email address is. Please sign in to have your vote counted. Show stats. Please sign in to. My email address is. Radio. My. No. Thanks. Tick. Email me when. Next. Next. Email me when new games are available. Tick box. Ticked. Next. Please post a review of this version of the game on the App Store. Review this game. Great. Next. But. Great. Great. Next. Choice of Games releases new games like this one on a regular basis. Click here to subscribe to our mailing list. We'll notify. Subscribe. Button. No. Thanks. Thanks for playing. Play again. Radio. Play more games like this. Radio. Share this game with friends. Email me when new game. Next. Button. I am the entertainer. Rock. Home. Back. Home. Home. Heading.